Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Well, it's the two best teams in the Atlantic League squaring off on a Tuesday night in Waldorf, Maryland, as the Gastonia Honey Hunters come to Regency Furniture Stadium for a three-game set. Well, a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. Austin Rooney, glad to have you on hand for what will eventually be tonight's matchup. Still blue skies overhead for the 6:30 start. Shadows creeping across the infield grass as Denson Hall is on the mound for his fourth performance of the season. So far, 13 1/3 innings of work. He has not allowed a run yet. Well, let's take a look first at the starting lineup for the Gastonia Honey Hunters as they come in 13-2. Both teams with identical 13-2 records. Gastonia had a 10-game win streak earlier in the year. The Blue Crabs had a 12-game winning streak, both of which were franchise records. And starting with the Gastonia Honey Hunters, batting first is the center fielder, Johnny Davis. He wears number 9, batting second, the shortstop, Jack Reinheimer. Batting third, the second baseman, Joseph Rosa. Batting fourth, the right fielder, Zach Jarrett. And batting fifth, the first baseman, number 12, Luis Castro. The sixth hitter is playing left field. That's Reese Hampton. Batting seventh, the third baseman, Raider Asanio. And batting eighth, the catcher, Stuart Levy. Closing out the order, and the designated hitter in tonight's game is Eric Jones. The pitcher for the Gastonia Honey Hunters, Deck McGuire. He sports an ERA just a hair over 2. Well, let's bring you around the diamond for the Blue Crabs. Out in left field, it is Zach Collier. In center field, Jack Sundberg. And right, it's Braxton Lee. From third to first, Alex Crosby, Michael Baca, Raul Shah, Jared Walker. Austin Rye is behind the plate in tonight's game, and Dunson Hull is on the mound. Raul Shah comes in as a second baseman. Ruby Silva played on that last road series with the Blue Crabs, but he is not with the ball club. He's on the reserve list for right now, and as a result, Raul Shah is in at second base. Well, just moments away from the first pitch as Denson Hull takes the mound. And Johnny Davis digs in. Lefty-righty matchup. First pitch, fastball away in the count 1-0. You know, we've said it quite a bit that there have been some days for baseball that could be a little nicer here in Waldorf in the first week or so, but tonight it is really perfect weather. Temperatures upper 60s, lower 70s, and it is completely blue skies. It's the 1-0 pitch, a called strike, and the count even at a ball and a strike on the right-handed hitter, Johnny Davis. The lights are on for tonight's ball game in front of a solid group of fans here at Regency Furniture Stadium. Ron Lord, as always, on hand as he jumps on top of the dugout. The 1-1 pitch, swinging a ground ball back up the middle. It's a base hit. Johnny Davis aboard to start things off for Gastonia. The opening hit comes from the opening batter, and there's a runner on first base with nobody out. Well, Jack Reinheimer, he's the shortstop, and he digs in from the right side. Blue Crabs lost the opening game of the series, of the season, I should say. It was the opening game of the series against Lexington. They went on to win 12 straight from there. The last 3 against Lexington, 2 more against Staten Island, 3 against Wild Health, 3 more against Lancaster, and finished with a win in the first game of the series against the Wild Health Genomes. They lost game 2. They won game 3. The team comes in 13-2. First pitch, a called strike on Jack Reinheimer on the outer half. And the count, no balls and 1 strike, with Johnny Davis leading off of first base. All 10 teams in action today, and the Blue Crabs have a 5.5 game lead atop the North Division. The pitch, swinging a ground ball to third, on to second for 1. Back on to first, there's not going to be a throw. Raul Shah was taken out by the slide from Johnny Davis. So it's a fielder's choice and a 5-4 as Jack Reinheimer reaches first base and Johnny Davis is out trying to go to second. Runner on first now and 1 out. as Joseph Rosa comes to the plate. Take a look across the Atlantic League. The Blue Crabs come in with a 13-2 record. Long Island Ducks are second in the division at 7-7. Lancaster and York are both 4-11. The bottom of the league to start the year, it's the Staten Island Ferryhawks who are 1-13. First pitch fastball, strike at the belt on Joseph Rosa. A trio of lefty on righty matchups to start this game. Denson Hull, one of three left-handed pitchers on this Blue Crab starting rotation. The 0-1 cut on and popped up foul behind home plate. Austin Rye's not going to have a play on that ball as it gets out of play and into the seats. The count 0-2. In the South Division, Gastonia leads at 13-2. They've got close competition, though, as the High Point Rockers are 12-4. Charleston Dirty Birds at 9-7. Lexington at 8-8. And the Wild Health Genomes at 5-11. Gastonia has just a 1.5 game lead, despite the fact that they're 13-2. Denson Hull tosses over to first base to check on Reinheimer as Joseph Rosa steps out. Zach Jarrett stands on deck for the Honey Hunters. Another quick pickoff move. But Reinheimer dives back in safely, I should say. Your umpires in this evening's contest: Mike Mackey behind the plate, John Thomas at first, Ian Pittenger is at third base. Pittenger currently near the second base bag on the first base side of second. Runner goes, strike three called, throw down to second, wildly offline, bounced on a couple of hops. It's a stolen base for Jack Reinheimer and a strikeout for Joseph Rosa. And there are two away with the runner on second base. Well, it shows the importance of running these balls out. Johnny Davis reached on a single to start the inning, but it's Jack Reinheimer who's done the work since then. He got on via fielder's choice and has stolen second base. A runner in scoring position now with two outs. Here's the pitch, swinging a high fly ball, right field, tailing down the first base line, and that ball is out of play. Well hit the other way from Zach Jarrett. You get an idea of his power from that one swing alone as that ball was lifted probably 330 feet down the right field line. The 0-1, a little low and away in the count, of ball and a strike on Zach Jarrett. It'll be Deck McGuire on the mound in the bottom of the first inning for the Honey Hunters. His ERA is shade over 2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Or 1-1, I should say, a called strike. And now the count, a ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs, top of the first inning. And no score between the Honey Hunters and the Blue Crabs. Denson Hull gets a sign from his catcher, Austin Rye, who's been hitting a lot better at the plate recently. 1-2, swinging a ground ball. Hard ball to the field for Walker. He throws across the diamond, and he makes the play. It was a tough ball for Jared Walker to field. He took it on a bad hop on the backhand and tossed it across the diamond for the final out. Well, the Gastonia Honey Hunters strand one. At the end of the top of the first, there's no score. Blue Crabs coming to bat. Bottom half of the first inning from Southern Maryland. First pitch, a called strike on the leadoff hitter, Jack Sundberg. We'll run you through the Blue Crabs order momentarily. No score in the bottom of the first inning. Here is the 0-1 pitch to Jack Sundberg. Swinging a line drive foul overhead behind home plate. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes. We apologize for the delay in the scoreboard. We're going to get that up to date as soon as we can. But the count is no balls and 2 strikes here in the bottom of the first inning. The 0-2 offering. Swing and a miss and a pitch in the dirt. Nicely blocked by the catcher, Stuart Levy. He throws to first in time to get the leadoff hitter, Jack Sundberg, by a couple of steps. So a quick one away from Deck McGuire. Well, here is the Blue Crabs batting order. It's Braxton Lee who bats second after the leadoff man, Jack Sundberg, who struck out moments ago. Batting third, it's the first baseman, Jared Walker, who's got a lot of pop in his bat. Hit 5 home runs this season. David Harris is the cleanup man. First pitch to Braxton Lee upstairs, count 1-0. The 5-hitter, Alex Crosby. He plays third base, batting sixth. It's the left fielder, Zach Collier. The 7-hitter is playing second base, it's Raul Shah. The catcher today is Austin Rye. Here's the pitch, swinging a ground ball, and it eats up Joseph Rosa into right field for a base hit. It was a hot shot off the bat of Braxton Lee. Have to imagine that's going to go down as a hit. This was very well struck. To complete the order, it's Austin Rye batting 8th, and batting 9th is Michael Baca. Runner on first base now with 1 out. In the bottom of the first inning, still no score between the Blue Crabs and the Honey Hunters. And here comes Jared Walker. First pitch from McGuire. Misses away, and the count, a ball and no strikes. Braxton Lee, 1 for 1 in stolen bases this year. He had just 1 stolen base all of last season, so not the biggest of threats to run. McGuire throws over to first to check on him anyway. He dives back in safely. Jared Walker hits .274 on the season. Has hits in back-to-back games coming in. On the road trip, he hit a .182. 2 for 11, an RBI, and 3 runs scored. As the 1-0 pitch is cut on and fouled back. Count, a ball and a strike. In the game against the Wild Health Genomes last time out, he was 1 for 4, had a run scored, a double, and an RBI. 5 home runs on the season, 13 RBIs. That's away, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike, I should say. The infield shifted over slightly. The shortstop in today's ball game, Jack Reinheimer, standing almost directly behind second base, almost like a backup to the pitcher, Deck McGuire. 2 1s away. Count 3 balls and 1 strike on Jared Walker. Right-handed cleanup hitter, David Harris on deck. Harris had an outstanding start to the season. The opening series at Lexington, he had 7 hits. He was 7 for 15. 3-1, big wave and a miss from Jared Walker. It was a good pitch in the strike zone, but he missed it. Well, Braxton Lee's not going to get credit for a hit on that last play. Goes down as an E4, an error against the second baseman, Joseph Rosa. Either way, runner on first base, one out. 3-2 pitch. Runner goes, swung on and missed. And Walker is out. And there are 2 away. Meanwhile, Braxton Lee does advance to second on the stolen base on a pitch in the dirt. And so there are 2 away. A pair of strikeouts to start the game from Deck McGuire, but he has a runner in scoring position he has to worry about. And David Harris comes to the plate. David Harris. On the season, hitting .278. In May, he struggled a little bit, hitting .125 overall. On that last road trip, he did have 3 hits and has a 3-game hitting streak going for him right now. First pitch, up and in for ball 1. Count 1-0. Harris, 3 for 11, had an RBI and 4 runs scored in this last road trip. The pitch, a little bit upstairs. Count 2 balls and no strikes on David Harris. He'll be followed by the 5-hitter Alex Crosby. And then Zach Collier. Runner on second base, that's Braxton Lee. He reached on an error earlier in the inning. 2-0. Low and away, and the count 3 balls and no strikes with 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning. Still no score between the Blue Crabs and the Honey Hunters in the bottom of the first. .3-0, swung on a high fly ball. Right field. Zach Jarrett takes a couple steps over toward the line where he makes the catch for the final out. Well, the Blue Crabs strand 1. At the end of 1, there's no score. Honey Hunters coming to the plate in the top of the second. Top of the second inning from Regency Furniture Stadium. Still no score between the Blue Crabs and the Honey Hunters. It's the 5-hitter in the Honey Hunters order, Luis Castro, who steps in from the right side. First pitch, it's a fastball inside half, and the count, no balls and 1 strikes on the righty. No score here from Regency Furniture Stadium. Each team had 1 base runner in the first. Honey Hunters had a single from the leadoff man, Johnny Davis. And the Blue Crabs had Braxton Lee reach on an error. 0-1, cut on and missed, and the count, no balls and 2 strikes. We're glad to have you here with us at Regency Furniture Stadium for the first of a 3-game set. with the Gastonia Honey Hunters. What's going to be part of a 6-game homestand here for the Blue Crabs. Here's the 0-2. Oh, big swing and a miss. Struck him out. Castro goes down swinging, and there's one away. And here comes the 7th batter in the order, Reese Hampton. Well, the Blue Crabs will play Gastonia for 3, and they'll play Charleston for 3. And then the Blue Crabs go back on the road at Gastonia for a 3-game set. First pitch is up and away for ball 1 on Reese Hampton. That will be the first of 13 games on the road for the Blue Crabs. Or that 13-game road trip, I should say, starts on April 23rd, or May 23rd, I should say, as the 1-0 pitch is cut on and fouled back. There's one away in the top of the 2nd inning. So the Blue Crabs' upcoming schedule: 3 at home against Gastonia, 3 on the road against Charleston here, 3 at Gastonia. We return home back to the Reg for 3 against Long Island. 1-1. Swing and a high chopper foul toward the Blue Crabs dugout, and the count of ball and 2 strikes. So again, the Blue Crabs play 3 on the road at Long Island, 4 at Charleston, 3 at York, and 3 at Lancaster. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes on the righty Reese Hampton. Hull set. Pitch, swinging a line drive, foul, first base side. Well struck off the bat of Reese Hampton, but it's out of play. Hampton, she followed by Raider Asanio. One, two. Swinging a high pop-up, first base side. Jared Walker gives chase on toward the dirt, toward the bullpen bench from Gastonia, where he makes the catch. Nicely done by Jared Walker, as the Gastonia bullpen that was sitting down went running for the hills for the 2nd out. Base paths empty in the top of the 2nd inning. 2 outs from Regency Furniture Stadium. First pitch, fastball away for ball 1. Well, fans, we apologize for not having music between innings. We're trying to get that fixed as soon as possible. We also have our center field camera that we will hopefully get you with early before the end of today's game. Just trying to sort through some technical difficulties in today's game. First pitch, a big wave and a miss from Raider Ascanio. And the count 0-1. Base paths empty, 2 outs in the top of the 2nd inning. Here's the pitch. Looked good, but missed just a little bit low, according to the home field umpire. Home plate umpire in today's game, Mike Mackey. He's only going to be umpiring tonight. Big cut on and missed. No balls and 2 strikes now on the righty. Denson Hull allowed a hit to start the game, but since then, he's retired 6 in a row. Reinheimer on a fielder's choice. He struck out Rosa, got Zach Jarrett to ground out to third, struck out Castro, and got Reese Hampton to pop out. Here's the pitch. Missed a little in. The count, in fact, is 3-2. So a full count on the righty. Hull has thrown just 25 pitches so far in an inning and 2/3. 3-2. Swung on a miss, struck him out. Hull picks up his second strikeout of the inning, his third on the game. At the end of 1.5, the Blue Crabs and the Honey Hunters are scoreless from Regency Furniture Stadium. Stick with us. Bottom of the second inning from Regency Furniture Stadium. The Blue Crabs sent 5, 6, and 7 to the plate. Alex Crosby will be followed by Zach Collier and Raul Shah. First pitch, a called strike from Deck McGuire. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. 0-1, swinging a dribbler. First base side, out of play. Count, no balls and 2 strikes on Alex Crosby. The 0-1 cut on and foul back in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Well, Raul Shah on the season is batting .250. He's the third batter in the inning as the 0-2 pitch comes up and in and hits Alex Crosby. And Raul Shah, somebody who will come to the plate later in the inning. We're going to get there in a couple moments. Let's not jump too quickly there yet, but we have a couple interesting stories about him coming up. As Zach Collier digs in from the left side. The Blue Crabs still have a real surplus in the outfield. The 3 outfielders who were there today, including Sundberg, Collier, and Lee. First pitch inside, and the count, a ball and no strikes. Pitch, that one low, and the runner goes. Alex Crosby steals second base. Second stolen base of the game for the Blue Crabs. And there's a runner on second with nobody out. Runner on second base, nobody out. Bottom of the second inning. Crosby from second. Collier at the plate. 1-0, swinging a hard line drive, foul first base side, and the count of ball and a strike. Well, I wish Blazer Bobcat, who's watching and listening from Albany, Georgia, a pleasant good evening. And anybody who has tuned into the broadcast tonight, shoot us a message in the YouTube chat. We'll give you a shout-out during today's game. 1-2. Oh, looked close, but just a little up and in on Zach Collier on the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. No score on the bottom of the second inning. Just 1 hit between the two teams so far. As Alex Crosby, who stands on second, reached via a hit by pitch. 2-2. Swinging a foul tip. Stuart Levy got a bit of a piece on that one. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Blue Crabs 13-2. 1-2 of 3 in their last series against the Wild Health Genomes, but the pitch is cut on and missed. Strike out Zach Collier for the first out here in the bottom of the second inning. And here comes Raul Shah. He's playing second base. I said we get to him in just a couple of moments. Raul Shah is hitting .250 and doing better recently. He started the season, his first at bat with a home run. Did not play against the Wild Health Genomes, but in his last game against Lancaster, 2 for 4, a run scored and a double. But Raul Shah's got a real opportunity here. Played in the Pioneer League last year, hit very well with a .350 batting average and a .981 OPS. This pitch, swinging a high pop-up, shallow left field. It's going to be a tough play. The shortstop, Reinheimer, is out there and under it to make the catch. A little too high on that pop-up from Raul Shah. Gave Jack Reinheimer time to track it and get under it and make the catch for the second out. And here comes Austin Rye, another player who's hitting better recently. In his last game, which was on May 8th, he went 2 for 3, had 4 RBIs and 2 walks. Both of the Blue Crabs catchers are hitting quite well. Between Austin Rye and Ryan Haug, the duo is hitting over .320 and have 18 RBIs to show for it. First pitch, breaking ball inside, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Runner on second base, they're 2 away now. In the bottom of the second inning. Pitch, that one's low, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Well, it's Crosby from second. He reached on a hit by pitch to start the inning. He stole second, but Zach Collier struck out, and Raul Shah popped out to short and shallow left field. 2-0 pitch, swinging a foul tip, deflects off the mask of Stuart Levy. Or I should say Levy. And so the count 2 balls and 1 strike. He seems to have shaken it off pretty well. Austin Rye, a fellow catcher, can relate, I'm sure. The shadows of the start of the game were on the infield grass. They've shifted well out into the outfield. Bottom of the second. No score between the Honey Hunters and the Blue Crabs. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes in the right-handed hitting catcher. We understand Nick Sweetman and the Sweetman family is watching in Aquasco, about 15 minutes away from the ballpark. We hope to see the Sweetman family here in person at the Reg in Waldorf. We invite all of our great listeners out here to the ballpark. 2-2, swinging a ground ball, foul. Hot shot headed toward the dugout. Raul Shah ducks out of the way. Oh my, and the trainer may have been hit by the ball. We're going to see, make sure that everybody's all right back there in the dugout. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. We'll hope to update you with everything once we receive word. Well, runner on second base. So everything appears to be all right as the players who were making sure everything was all right in the dugout are back to the top step. 2-2 upstairs in the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Austin Rye. Crosby, still from second base. He hasn't budged since the start of the inning. After he was hit by a pitch and stole second, he's remained there after a strikeout and a pop-out. 3-2, low and away, ball 4. And Austin Rye is aboard after a very long at-bat. And there's a runner on first with 2 outs. Or first and second, I should say. Crosby from second, Rye from first, and the strong defensive player, Michael Baca, comes to the plate. Baca on the offensive side is hitting .135 against the Wild Health Genomes. In the last game, he was 1 for 4 with an RBI double. First pitch is upstairs for ball 1 on the right-handed hitter. Back to the top of the order after this. If Michael Baca can extend the inning, an opportunity for Jack Sundberg, who has an on-base percentage near .500. The pitch, swinging a high fly ball, deep left center field. It sends Reese Hampton back in front of the warning track where he makes the catch for the final out. Baca hit that ball well, but it held up a little too long. The Blue Crabs strand 2, and at the end of 2, there's no score from Regency Furniture Stadium. Top half of the third inning, no score between the Blue Crabs and the Honey Hunters. And Denson Hull back on the mound for his third inning of work. In our comments section on the YouTube page, we hear that Bob Frolickstein is watching Denson Hull from San Antonio, Texas. He grew up as part of the same church family as Denson Hull and his family and watched Denson Hull grow up. Well, Bob, you got to be happy with the start Denson Hull has so far. 2 innings of work, has allowed just 1 hit and no runs. First pitch, runs low and in on Stuart Levy, and the count, a ball and no strikes on the right-handed hitter. Levy followed by Eric Jones and Johnny Davis here in the top of the third. Hull retired 6 consecutive after their leadoff single to Johnny Davis. Here's the 1-0. That's up and away, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. It's what's really a terrific evening here in Southern Maryland. We're going to get a trivia question to you a little bit later. Relates to some of the music that was here pregame. A lot of Billy Joel before the start of today's game as the 2-0 pitch is cut on and foul back, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. So I'm not sure if you know your Billy Joel music or not, but maybe you want to touch up on that because that's the topic of today's trivia question, or at least today's first trivia question. We might have more. 2 balls and a strike. Swinging a high fly ball, left field, foul, and it's going to go over the Legends Club and out of play. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Base paths empty in the top of the third. The Honey Hunters, no runs on 1 hit. The Blue Crabs, no runs on no hits. But the Blue Crabs have had 3 base runners in the first 2 innings. 1 reached via an error, 1 via a walk, and another via a hit by pitch. 2-1, or 2-2 I should say, is away, and the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Base paths empty in the top of the third for the leadoff hitter in the inning, Stuart Levy. He bats 8th overall in the Gastonia lineup. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swinging a high pop-up, foul, first base side. Gets out of play into the seats. And the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Denson Hull has pitched 15 in the third inning so far this season. He has not allowed a run yet. The lefty, 6'1", 220 pounds. And a 3-1. Swinging a high fly ball, left field, playable for Zach Collier, who drifts over to the left field line and makes the catch for the first out. 1 away in the top of the third inning. Well, Denson Hull has struck out 16 batters in 15 2/3 innings so far this year. He's walked 7. He's allowed just 7 hits. As Stuart Levy flies out to left, it's Eric Jones who digs in from the right side. Jones will be followed by Johnny Davis. First pitch to Jones, swinging a line drive, center field, straight away. Jack Sundberg took a step back, now takes a step in, and makes a catch for the second out. So after a long fought at bat from Stuart Levy, a quick second out after Eric Jones swung at the first pitch. So 2 up and 2 down in the bottom of the third inning. So here is Johnny Davis, the last base runner for the Honey Hunters who got on. He singled in the first inning, was later out at second base on a fielder's choice. First pitch up and in, the count 1 ball and no strikes. Well, the exact weather report tonight, 67 degrees. And it says mostly sunny. It's entirely sunny. The 1-0. Swinging a foul tip back behind home plate, and the count, a ball and a strike on Johnny Davis. Not only is he the only batter in the Gastonia order who has a hit through 2 2/3 innings, but he's the only batter in this game who has a hit. One of 4 base runners to reach between both teams, but the only batter with a hit. It was just a single on a dribbler up the middle. The 1-1. Swinging a high chopper, third base side. Crosby's got it. Double clutch, toss to first in time, and it beats Johnny Davis by a step to end the inning. Well, Denson Hulls retired 9 straight at the end of 2.5. The Blue Crabs nothing, and the Honey Hunters nothing. Blue Crabs coming to bat next. Top or bottom half of the third inning from Regency Furniture Stadium. First pitch, a called strike on the leadoff hitter in the Blue Crabs order, Jack Sundberg. Count 0-1. The 0-1 pitch cut on and a dribbler over to second, easily fielded by Joseph Rosa, who tosses to first, and there is one away. No score between the Blue Crabs and the Honey Hunters. Southern Maryland still without a hit. The Honey Hunters have one. He's their only base runner. It was their leadoff hitter, Johnny Davis, who was just retired to end the inning, which means Hull's retired 9 in a row. But the Blue Crabs don't have a hit of their own so far. Here comes Braxton Lee. First pitch, a called strike, and the count 0-1. Well, Braxton Lee may have thought he had a hit back in the first inning, but was ruled an error by the second baseman, Joseph Rosa. 0-1, check swing, low just below the knees in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out in the bottom of the third inning. We're glad you've joined us on a beautiful Tuesday evening. 1-1, swing and a miss, count, 1 ball and 2 strikes on the lefty, Braxton Lee. Jared Walker, the power-hitting lefty, is on deck. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Deck McGuire. Swing and a miss. Braxton Lee was flat-footed and behind it, and there are 2 away. And here comes Jared Walker. Walker, the big left-handed hitter, as he digs his back left foot into the lefty batter's box. Slight shift on Walker. We'll get to that in a moment as the first pitch swinging. It's dribbled back to the pitcher, McGuire tosses to first. Well, the shift irrelevant at this point as Deck McGuire works a very quick 1-2-3 inning to end the third inning. Honey Hunters coming to the plate. Still just one hit between these two teams. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Top of the fourth inning from Regency Furniture Stadium, Denson Hall has pitched very well so far in this one. 3 innings of work. He's retired the last 9 consecutive batters. Allowed a hit to the leadoff man, Johnny Davis, in the first to start things out, but nothing since then. Here's Jack Reinheimer, who bats second and takes a called strike. And the count 0-1. Well, Jeff Johnson, who appears to be the host of the Jeff Johnson Show, is watching from Gastonia, North Carolina. 0-1 pitch, swinging a line drive into center field for a base hit. Just bloops in front of Jack Sundberg, who wasn't going to have quite enough time to make a play on that ball. And Reinheimer is aboard to start the fourth inning. Well, Deck McGuire, who he just messaged about in the YouTube chat. If you're not on YouTube, you should go over and check out the YouTube stream of this game and participate in our chat. I'm always active on the chat, and we'll give you all a shout-out if you'd like. First pitch to the 3-hitter. Joseph Rosas swung on and fouled off right field side, and the count 0 balls and a strike. Well, Reinheimer reached via a single, and it's Zach Jarrett who stands on deck. Hull tosses over to first base to check on Reinheimer, who's quickly back to the bag. The Blue Crabs and Honey Hunters are both 13-2 coming into today's games. And Hull, another pickoff move to check on Jack Reinheimer. Both the Blue Crabs starters and the Blue Crabs relievers have played a massive role as the runner goes, swinging a line drive into right field. It's a base hit. Reinheimer first to third. He'll stop there. There are runners on the corners and nobody out in the top of the fourth. And Gastonia now threatening in the top of the fourth inning. So Reinheimer on third, Rosa on first, with no outs in the top of the fourth inning. Zach Jarrett will be followed by Luis Castro and Reese Hampton. Well, Hull could use a strikeout here. The Blue Crabs infield is back. They seem willing to concede the run. First pitch to Jarrett. He takes it for ball one, and there's one ball and no strikes in the top of the fourth inning. Well, an important play for Zach Jarrett to go, or I beg your pardon, from Jack Reinheimer to go first to third on the single from Joseph Rosa. 1-0. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball, a little low and out of the zone, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Runners on the corners, nobody out. The count, a ball and a strike as Hull tosses over to first base. Hull set. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swinging a ground ball over to second base, fielded by the second baseman Shaw, on to second for one, back on to first, not in time. The run is going to score for the Honey Hunters. So it's 1-0 Gastonia. The Blue Crabs got that first out at second base. They couldn't quite turn two as Zach Jarrett runs well, but the opening run has scored for Gastonia. It's 1-0. And Zach Jarrett reaches on a fielder's choice. Also picks up an RBI for good measure. And again, it's not the first time today that Gastonia has run out a ground ball and been rewarded for good measure. Reinheimer did back in the first inning on a fielder's choice. Eventually was at second base as the pitch to Luis Castro, a called strike. So it's the Honey Hunters 1 and the Blue Crabs 0 in the top of the fourth inning. Hull set, the pitch, a little low and in. Count 1 ball and 1 strike on Luis Castro. Braxton Lee has been throwing in the low 90, or I beg your pardon, Denson Hull has been throwing in the low 90s so far today. As the 1-1 pitch is swung on and skied to straightaway center. Jack Sundberg over and he makes the catch for the first out. It's been low 80s, high 80s, low 90s. Trying to get my numbers right. Normally my math skills are not so bad, but today I seem to have run into trouble with the math skills. But Denson Hull, he started the game, was throwing 91, 92, but more recently, Denson Hull's been in the upper 80s here in the top of the fourth inning with his fastball velocity. A lot of change-ups and sliders as well. Denson Hull tosses to first. And Zach Jarrett back to the bag. Runner on first, 2 outs, top of the fourth inning. 1-0 Southern Maryland. Runner goes, pitches a called strike, throw to second, not in time. Raul Shaw thought he had him. But it's a stolen base from Zach Jarrett. From my view up here, it was a really close play, but I happen to agree with our third base umpire on a bang play. Ian Pittenger, I think he had that one right. But there's a runner on second base with 2 outs. Shaw certainly got a good tag down. It was a good throw from Austin Rye as well, and nearly got him. 0-1 pitch. Runner goes again. That's inside. There's no throw from Austin Rye. And all of a sudden, Zach Jarrett has swiped 2 bags on 2 pitches. The Honey Hunters hadn't stolen a single base yet this game. Runner on third base, 2 outs. Count a ball and a strike. Here's the 1-1. It's away, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. The Honey Hunters scored their first run of the game earlier this inning. Jack Reinheimer singled to center. Joseph Rosa poked one into right field. There were runners on the corners with nobody out, and Zach Jarrett earned an RBI on a fielder's choice on a ground ball to second. Zach Jarrett now stands on third with 2 outs. The 2-1 pitch. Check swing. Signal down to first base, and the first base umpire, John Thomas, with an emphatic no-swing call. Well, I talked to the umpires before today's game. I asked if any of them had any nicknames like our good friend Bill the Skill Worthington, who will be in town tomorrow. But they told me and assured me that they certainly do not. "3-1, cut on and fouled away. First base side, and the count 3-2. Three balls and 2 strikes, top of the 4th inning. The Honey Hunters have scored the opening run of the game here in the top of the 4th. 3-2 pitch from Denson Hall. Oh, very close, just off the inside corner. And there's a runner on first base now with 2 outs. In the top of the 3rd after the walk. Jarrett also on third, so now runners on the corners. Raider Escanio is 0 for 1. He struck out back in the 2nd inning and now digs in from the right side. Zach Jarrett, the slight lead off of third base, swinging a ground ball over to third. Walker couldn't handle it, and there's a run that's going to score. I beg your pardon, that was Alex Crosby over at third base who had trouble with it. And it is a 2-0 Honey Hunters lead. Well, the Honey Hunters scored that one after an error at third base from Alex Crosby. Runners on first and second, and it's 2-0 Gastonia. That one should have ended the inning. The Blue Crabs could have been out of this one as the pitch is swung on and fouled off. Third base side out of play. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. The pitch cut on, a high pop up behind home plate. Austin Rye giving chase. He's going to run out of room. Count, no balls and 2 strikes. We apologize for the break in the broadcast, everybody, as we're trying to sort out some of our technical difficulties today. We hope to have our center field camera to you as soon as we can. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes on the right-handed hitter. And a couple of things have spiraled now for the Blue Crabs. Was a 1-0 game. It's now a 2-0 game. As the 1-2 pitch is low and in, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. We apologize that the screen is black there. Again, just trying to sort through some technical difficulties today. Try to get that up and running as soon as we can. Again, runners on first and second, 2 outs. Top of the 4th inning. Here's the pitch. Swinging a high fly ball. Left center field deep. Collier on the run over to left center where he makes the catch for the final out. Well, that will end the top of the 4th inning. The Honey Hunters score 2. They strand 2 at the end of 3.5. It's 2-0 Gastonia. Bottom of the 4th inning, first pitch is a ball low and away. Shoe tops level on David Harris, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's a called strike, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1, swinging a high fly ball, right field. The right fielder, Zach Jarrett, is there to make the catch for the first out. So one away now in the bottom of the fourth inning. Blue Crabs nothing. Honey Hunters 2 in the bottom of the fourth inning. We're glad you've chosen to join us on this Thursday evening, or Tuesday evening, I beg your pardon. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. Pitch, swinging a ground ball slowly over to first base. The flip back to the pitcher, Deck McGuire, and there are 2 up and 2 down. Deck McGuire has had a terrific last 2 innings. He's now retired 6 consecutive Blue Crabs. So 2 away now in the bottom of the fourth. And Deck McGuire continues to pitch lights out baseball. Base paths empty and 2 outs for Zach Collier. The pitch, called strike, belt high, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. One pitch, strike on the inside corner. Zach Collier not happy with it, but the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Base paths empty. 2 away in the bottom of the fourth. Here's the pitch. Swinging a ground ball, first base side. Diving stop by Castro. The flip to first is in time. A 1-2-3 inning. The Blue Crabs still without a hit after the first baseman, Luis Castro, flashes some leather. We're finished with 4 innings of play here from the Reg in Waldorf. The Honey Hunters have a 2-0 lead. Stick with us. Top of the 5th inning, Denson Hall is back out there for his 5th inning of work. He's allowed 2 runs, 1 earned through 4 innings. Allowed just 3 hits to the Gastonia Honey Hunters. A total of 4 base runners. First pitch, low and away for ball 1. Count 1 ball and no strikes. On the leadoff hitter in the inning, Stuart Levy. 1-0, a big cut and a miss, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Eric Jones and Johnny Davis to follow here in the top of the 5th. Honey Hunters scored 2 runs back in the top of the 4th inning. Here's the 1-1. Curveball called strike, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Really nice front door breaking ball from Denson Hull, who's now thrown 62 pitches tonight through 4 innings. He's got a real shot at going 6. Denson Hull is still transitioning from a reliever to a starter. We'll get into that in a couple of moments. 1-2 is away, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Denson Hull played back at Creighton in the Big East before he was drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks back in the 28th round of the 2019 draft. Pitched for Missoula in rookie ball, and he was a starter back at Creighton. Started a couple games in Missoula. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Strikeout to start the inning from Denson Hull, and there's 1 away in the top of the 5th. But Denson Hull did not pitch a single start in high A or double A throughout the 2021 season. But he's been transitioned into a starting pitcher this year for the Blue Crabs. And this is his 4th start. First pitch to the 9-hitter, Eric Jones. Or I beg your pardon, this is the leadoff hitter. It is Johnny Davis. I had my batters a little mixed up there. So it was Eric Jones who struck out. The 0-1 cut on and dribbled foul toward the third base side. Count no balls and 2 strikes on the right-handed hitter, Johnny Davis. The base paths are empty. Blue Crabs, nothing. Honey Hunters, 2. Oh, 2 pitch. Swinging a ground ball just over the head of Hull. It's going to be a tough play. Shaw fires this offline, and it's an infield hit for Johnny Davis. His 2nd hit of the day. It was not hard hit at all. A little bit unlucky as Denson Hull jumped for it. He reached for it, and he couldn't quite get it. And so there is now a runner on first base with 1 out. And Jack Reinheimer will step in. Reinheimer 1 for 2. He's reached base safely on both at bats. He reached on a fielder's choice back in the 1st. He singled in the 4th. Came around to score a run. One of the 2 runs for Gastonia. First pitch is upstairs in the count 1-0. Joseph Rosa on deck, followed by Zach Jarrett. This is the part of the order that did the damage back in the 4th inning for the Honey Hunters. Now we're in the top of the 5th. 2-0 Gastonia over Southern Maryland. 1-0. Oh, he's going to toss the first instead. The count remains 1 ball and no strikes. 1 ball and no strikes on Jack Reinheimer, who bats from the right side. It's Johnny Davis from first, with 1 out. Top of the 5th. Honey Hunters scored 2 in the top of the 4th. That's all the runs that have been produced in this game as the 1-0 runs inside, and the count 2 balls and no strikes with 1 out here in the inning. Well, I teased this earlier in the game. I said that we were going to do a trivia question on Billy Joel, because there was Billy Joel music going out throughout the entire pregame. Well, the players are warming up, a lot of Billy Joel music. So our trivia question today is going to be about him as the 2-0 pitch is swung on and fouled off on the right field side. Reinheimer to dig back in. So the question is, in what year did Billy Joel release his first album? Again, if you're wondering why we're asking a Billy Joel question, the reason is that he had all of the intro music, all of the music they were playing while the players were having batting practice today. Always like to listen to some of the old music from the 70s and 80s. A bit of a hint there. I mentioned the 70s, the 80s. I'm trying to think about when was his first album. Count 2 balls and 1 strike now on Reinheimer, who's working a deep at bat as Stenson Hull is somewhat preoccupied with the runner on first base, Johnny Davis. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Runner goes. Throw down to second. Not quite in time. Solid throw from Austin Rye. It was right on the money. And Raul Shaw tagged him. But Johnny Davis was already safe at second. The count now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes on the right-handed hitter. And Jack Reinheimer called time, and he steps out. A slight delay in the action now. Well, he's going to step back in. Hull gets the sign from his catcher, Austin Rye. The top of the 5th inning. Still 2-0 Honey Hunters. Denson Hull looking to hold Gastonia where they are right now. Oh, look at this. Jack Reinheimer calling time yet again. You can only call a time so many times before it's time to actually get up there and hit. Runner on second base. Here's the 2-2. Check swing. He holds up. And they're now 3 balls and 2 strikes. What has been a very, very lengthy at-bat. 6 pitches is a lot in at-bat, but this is an especially long 6-pitch at-bat. The runner on second and 1 out. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Jack Reinheimer goes down swinging. It's the second strikeout of the inning from Denson Hull. And there are 2 away. Well, Denson Hull has not allowed any hard hit balls. He's gotten a bit unlucky in today's game. It was a ground ball single up the middle. Not very hard hit from Johnny Davis back in the 1st inning. In the 4th inning, a bloop single to center, a ground ball single to right, a fielder's choice, and an error at third base by Alex Crosby. That's how 2 runs came across. First pitch up and away for ball 1 on Joseph Rosa. And then here in the 5th is just the high chopper just over Denson Hull's head in no man's land between Michael Baca and Raul Shaw. It was enough for a base hit for Johnny Davis. Solid contingent on hand for Silver Sluggers night. 1-0 pitch called strike. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike on the righty. Joseph Rosa struck out looking in the 1st. He singled in the 4th. Rosa was out as part of a fielder's choice on a ground ball to second that scored Jack Reinheimer. But he played an important role in the first run of the game for the Honey Hunters. Count 1-1. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball. And it's called a ball. It was awfully close. But the home plate umpire, Mike Mackey, said it missed for a ball. Hull with that left arm dangling down. So he gets the sign from his catcher, Austin Rye. Runner on second, 2 outs. Here's the 2-1. Swinging a ground ball, hard hit, foul. Third base side, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Just to remind you, all of our umpires today, it's Mike Mackey behind the plate, John Thomas at first, and Ian Pittenger at second base. Johnny Davis. This ball is swung on, hit high in the air, a pop-up. First base side, it's a second baseman, Rule Shah, who made the catch. I mentioned Johnny Davis. He singled and stole second, but he's stranded there to end the top of the 5th inning. We're halfway done here at Regency Furniture Stadium. It's the Honey Hunters 2 and the Blue Crabs nothing. Stick with us. Back to the Reagan Waldorf. First pitch misses low for ball 1 on Raul Shah. Count 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0, cut on and missed. And the count 1-1. Base paths empty in the bottom of the 5th inning. 1-1, swinging a high fly ball, left field. Reese Hampston sidesteps once or twice and makes the catch for the first out. A lazy fly ball to left, but that's what things have been so far today against Deck McGuire, who has been nothing short of outstanding. McGuire, 4 innings of work. He's walked 1, he's hit 1, allowed no hits, and he struck out 4. His ERA started at 2.19. It's now down at 1.71. First pitch called strike on Austin Rye, and the count 0-1. Deck McGuire pitched in Major League Baseball already. The 0-1, cut on and missed, and the count 0-2. In 2017, he started 2 games for the Cincinnati Reds, pitched 13 innings in the MLB, had a 2.63 ERA. Also pitched in 2018. 0-2, swinging a ground ball over to short, fielded by the shortstop Reinheimer, who tosses to first. It's in time for the out. So a quick 2 up and 2 down for Deck McGuire. Well, Deck McGuire has now retired 9 consecutive Blue Crabs batters. Got Baca to fly out. Sundberg grounded out. A strikeout from Braxton Lee. Jared Walker had a sharp ground out to first. A fly out from David Harris. Crosby grounded out. Collier grounded out. A fly out from Shaw and a ground out from Rye. 9 up and 9 down. The last 3 innings of work from Deck McGuire. Here's Michael Baca. First pitch swinging. Right field. It sends the right fielder Jarrett back right in front of the warning track where he makes the catch. Some strong opposite field power from Baca, but the result all the same. McGuire's retired 10 in a row. He is not allowed to hit through 5 innings of play. The Blue Crabs trail 2-0. Top of the 6th inning, the Honey Hunters 2 and the Blue Crabs nothing. On the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network, we're glad you've decided to join us on a Tuesday night in Waldorf, Maryland. Historic Waldorf, a great town here in Charles County, with the Blue Crabs trailing the Honey Hunters 2-0. Gastonia scored 2 back in the 6th inning. As Zach Jarrett comes to the plate. First pitch, check swing. Missed a little low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Jarrett followed by Castro and Hampton. These 3 were instrumental in the 2 runs scored back in the 4th inning as the 1-0 pitch is in and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Denson Hull has now thrown 80 pitches. Nobody warming up in the Blue Crabs bullpen yet, as Hull has fallen behind in the count 2-0 on the leadoff man of the 6th. The pitch, cut on and miss. Count 2-1. So far in tonight's start, one real positive for Denson Hull is the control. He's allowed an earned run tonight, the first time this season, but he's walked just 1 batter. He's allowed 4 hits, but the 1 walk is a big improvement from his last few starts. So 2-1 is upstairs in the count 3-1. Coming into this game, Hull had walked 7 batters in 3 starts. 7 batters across 13 innings. 3-1 pitch, swinging a high pop-up, shallow right field. Shaw drifts back into the right field grass to make the catch for the first out. That's the first out in the top of the 6th. The Honey Hunters 2 and the Blue Crabs nothing. As Luis Castro comes to the plate, he bats from the right side, takes a practice swing before he opts to dig in. Here's the pitch. Big called strike on the inner half, and the count 0-1. It's always nice when you can accompany a fun game of baseball with some beautiful weather, and that's the scene today from the Reagan Waldorf. As that pitch comes inside and hits Luis Castro, and he'll be aboard with 1 out in the top of the 6th. Hit him in the thigh area as Reese Hampton comes to the plate. He's 0 for 1. He walked. That was back in the 4th. Reese Hampton bats from the right side with a runner on first base and 1 out. Hull's thrown 83 pitches now through 5 1/3 innings of work. Issued his second free pass of the day as the first pitch is cut on and fouled back. And as I've said on a number of occasions, is a hit-by pitch really a free pass? Now, as far as I'm concerned, probably not. You're enduring quite the bruise at a bare minimum. Count 0-1 on Reese Hampton. Lefty pitcher on right-handed batter matchup. 0-1 upstairs in the count 1-1. Denson Hull gets a sign from his catcher, Austin Rye. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Fastball upstairs, and Hull has done well to mix his pitches. And the count 1-2. Yeah, Denson Hull was in the low 90s to start today's game, and he's still working on keeping the stamina and his velocity numbers up throughout the course of the game. Hit as high as 91.2 miles an hour back in the first inning, and he's in the 88 range right now. And that's to be expected over the course of the start. And now there is some action in the Blue Crabs bullpen. 1 out, runner on first, 1-2, swinging a high fly ball, deep left center field, sends Collier back to the warning track, and he makes the catch. Hardest hit ball all day from either team, but Collier tracks it down, and they're 2 away. 2 away in the top of the 6th inning. Really nice play by Zach Collier, who drifted back in front of the Blackstone management sign for the second out. Runner on first base. 2 outs, top of the 6th inning. It's the deepest Denson Hull's gone in a game, both in pitch count and in total innings. He's gone 5 2/3. There is a runner on first base, and there are 2 outs. Here is Raider Ascanio. Ascanio, 143 hitter on the season. The first pitch, swinging a chopper to short. Baca fields. Quick throw to first base in time. Well, Denson Hull hits a batter, but he gets out of this one. At the end of 6 innings of play, it's 2-0 Honey Hunters. Stick with us. The Blue Crabs trying to get some runs back in the bottom of the 6th. Happy to have you with us in the bottom of the 6th inning. From the Reg in Waldorf, Regency Furniture Stadium, it's the top of the Blue Crabs order to try to get some offense going here in the top of the 6th. So far, Deck McGuire has been sensational. He's allowed no hits. He's walked just one batter. He has hit a batter through 5 innings of work. First pitch to Jack Sundberg. Low for ball 1. Honey Hunters have also been credited with an error. What was a sharply hit ground ball off the bat of Braxton Lee? It was back in the first inning, and it sort of ate up Joseph Rosa. And the 1-0, swinging a ground ball to short. Bit of a tricky play for the third baseman, Raider Escanio, but he throws across the diamond in time to get the speedy Jack Sundberg for the first out. Fielded that ball a little bit flat-footed, and that ball had some side spin on it. But he managed to field it between his legs and toss over to first for the first out. And here is Braxton Lee, one of 3 Blue Crabs players who has reached today. He reached via the error, then stole second base. Pitch cut on and foul back. Count 0-1 on the left-handed hitter. Base path's empty. 1 out. The 0-1. Big wave and a miss, and the count 0-2. Well, Deck McGuire continues to be terrific tonight. 62 pitches in. He's gone 5 1/3, no hits. 0-2's away, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Braxton Lee. McGuire has thrown 63 pitches now, allowed 4 hits, or bigger heart, no hits, as the 1-2 is swung on and fouled off. I was looking at Denson Hull's number, and he's allowed 4 hits today, but as I was saying, Deck McGuire, 5 1/3 innings, no hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, through 5 1/3. Lee will be followed by Walker, the 1-2. Oh, very close, but just a little outside, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes on the lefty. Braxton Lee, the bat behind his helmet. Here is the pitch, swinging a high pop-up, third base side. Raider Escanio drifts over to the third base line on the edge of the dirt and the outfield grass where he makes the catch for the second out. Again, it's 2 up and 2 down for the Blue Crabs. And McGuire's retired 12 consecutive batters as Jared Walker comes to the plate. It looks to spark something for Southern Maryland. And for McGuire, it has not been difficult to keep that pitch count down. Thrown 66 pitches through 6 innings, or 5 2/3, I should say. First pitch is upstairs. Count 1 ball and no strikes on the lefty, Jared Walker. 1-0. It's a called strike on a breaking ball. And the count 1-1. McGuire's still throwing pretty hard. He's throwing 91 miles an hour. The 1-1 swung on and shot foul, right side, and the count 1-2. And his velocity's been pretty stable throughout. The very beginning of the game, he was right at 90 to 91. And he's still right at 91 miles an hour. The velocity actually up a tick. 1-2 pitch from Deck McGuire. It's away. Jared Walker managed to check his swing. The count 2 balls and 2 strikes. McGuire went to the fastball that time. Honey Hunters lead this one 2-0. Scored 2 runs back in the 4th inning. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Deck McGuire with another strikeout. He's retired 13 straight Blue Crabs. We're done with 6 innings of play. And the Blue Crabs still trailing 2-0. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Top of the 7th inning. The Honey Hunters 2, the Blue Crabs nothing. Deck McGuire, the starting pitcher for the Honey Hunters, has not surrendered a hit yet in today's ball game. And the Blue Crabs have moved on from Denson Hull and gone to the bullpen with Patrick Baker. We'll go through both Hull's line and Baker's line this season. First pitch swinging. It's off the glove of the first baseman. Oh, and now the second baseman, Shaw, throws it away. No one to back him up. It's the catcher, Rye, who eventually gets it all the way back to the backstop. And there's a runner on second base to lead things off in the 7th inning, what could have been a ground out. As Patrick Baker went over to cover, it was not a very good throw from Raul Shaw, and all of a sudden there's a runner on second base to lead things off in the 7th. So there's now a runner in scoring position. We'll have to see what the ruling is. Is it a single and an error or merely an error? Either way, it's the second of the night for the Blue Crabs. The play has been the pitch is swung on and fouled back, and the count 0-1. Let me just get the official ruling on this before we dive into everything. So it's going to be ruled a single on a ground ball to Raul Shaw and an error. Count no balls and 1 strike on the 9-hitter Eric Jones. Oh, 1. Swing and a miss in the count 0-2. Well, the Blue Crabs are going to need the offense to come alive in the 7th, 8th, and 9th here on Senior Sluggers Day, who've decided to spend their night here at the Reg. Couldn't be happier to have our Senior Sluggers here. The 0-2 pitch. Swinging a foul tip. I believe it deflected off of Austin Rye's glove and ended up in the home plate umpire's hand. Either way, count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Our home plate umpire today, Mike Mackey. Again, we try to see if any of our umpires today would go by nicknames, but there were no takers. We will have Bill the Skill Worthington back with us tomorrow. 0-2. Swinging a high fly ball, right field, down the line. It's tailing foul and out of play. Very well struck off the bat of the 9-hitter, Eric Jones, but the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Well, that would have been a real opportunity for the Honey Hunters to blow this one open. It's a 2-0 game. The Blue Crabs, despite the fact they don't have a hit today, are still very much in this game. And they're 2 batters away from tying it at any given point, but if the Honey Hunters can add a run here in the 7th, or possibly 2 or 3, well, that changes things. The 0-2. Swing and a foul tip into Rye's mitt. A strikeout on Eric Jones. Gone down swinging for the 2nd time tonight, and they're 2 away. Well, Patrick Baker and the shortstop Michael Baca, along with the catcher Austin Rye, to discuss a few things. It may have to do with the runner Stuart Levy, who's on second base, who should probably be taking some precautions here. Gonna have to watch out for Baca making some sneaky play back behind Stuart Levy. Runner on second base, 1 out. First pitch from Johnny Davis, who's now hitting from the left side. And the count 0-1. Davis hit from the right side in his first at-bats against the left-handed pitcher, Denson Hull. Well, the count is no balls and 1 strike. Here's the pitch. An off-balance hack at that one. And the count 0-2. Runner on second base and 1 out. Hull is set. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Again, a haphazard swing from Johnny Davis. Much better hitting from the right side. And there are 2 away here in the 7th inning. It's way behind that pitch from Patrick Baker. Well, Baker's throwing hard. There's no question about it. Coming out of the bullpen, it's expected he's going to be throwing harder than a starter. But, you know, when you're facing 90 the entire night and sometimes 88 and 89, you come in and face someone who's throwing 96. It's a bit of a wake-up call. First pitch at the knees for a called strike on Jack Reinheimer. Runner on second base, 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning. After a single and an error to lead off the inning, as the 0-1 is low and the count 1-1. Patrick Baker would like to make things clean here after striking out Eric Jones and striking out Johnny Davis. That's one of the real positives for Southern Maryland, the depth they've got in their bullpen. 1-1 pitch. Called strike, count 1-2. Well, the inning didn't start well for Patrick Baker. It's a hard hit ground ball over to the first baseman, deflected off of Walker's glove. Raul Shaw tried to toss to Patrick Baker, but he wasn't able to get there in time and was thrown away, and the runner was on second base with nobody out, but he struck out Eric Jones. He struck out Johnny Davis. He's got a 1-2 count now on the right-handed hitter, or the switch hitter. No, it is a right-handed hitter, I beg your pardon. Jack Reinheimer. Johnny Davis, a switch hitter. 1-2. Just a little bit outside in the count, 2-2. Heard a few times some fans yelling, "Come on, Blue," but I'm not sure that's going to be enough to get Mike Mackey to reverse his call. I think it was the right call. The pitch was maybe 2 inches outside. We've heard "Come on, Blue" from the same fan many, many times. 2-2, swinging a defensive swing. It's fouled off to the first base side, out of play. The count, 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Jack Reinheimer, who's reached base twice. He struck out in the 5th. Stuart Levy leads off of second base. It's 2-0. Honey Hunters here in the 7th. Patrick Baker steps off. Now back on the rubber. Only 2 runs this game were scored back in the top of the 4th on a couple of hits and an error. 2-2 pitch, swinging a one-hopper over to short. Nicely fielded by Baca. Throw to first in time. Nice stretch by the first baseman, Jared Walker, in time to get Jack Reinheimer. Well, after the opening single and error, Baker works out of this one in order with a pair of strikeouts and a ground out to short. It's time to stretch here in Southern Maryland. Middle of the 7th. It's the Honey Hunters 2 and the Blue Crabs nothing on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 7th inning. 2-0 Honey Hunters as Deck McGuire's back out on the mound. A first pitch breaking ball and a big swing and a miss from the leadoff man in the bottom of the 7th. It's David Harris. He bats cleanup in the Blue Crabs order. Harris followed by Crosby and Collier as the 0-1 pitch is well up and in the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Blue Crabs bats haven't been as hot as they were earlier in the season. We're going to get there in a second. 1-1 pitch, swinging a ground ball, third base side. Nicely snagged by the third baseman. Acadio throw to first. Not in time. The Blue Crabs have their first hit of the day. Third baseman Acadio is in some pain on the third base side. Looks like he's going to stay in this game, though. I think he may have had his fingers jammed on that last play. Either way, David Harris has reached, and the Blue Crabs have their first hit of the day. That's called a hustle play. Ground ball down the third base line. And David Harris dove into first base to reach safely. Runner on first, nobody out in the bottom of the 7th inning. Alex Crosby digs in from the left side. He's followed by Zach Collier. First pitch, swinging a line, drive left field through the hole for a base hit. Didn't hit that ball that hard either. It's a weak line drive, but a seeing eye single through the hole between shortstop and third, between Jack Reinheimer and Raider Alcanio. And there are runners on first and second with nobody out. After the Blue Crabs couldn't muster a single hit in the first 6 innings, they have hits on back-to-back pitches. Runner on first and second with nobody out. Zach Collier comes to the plate. He'll be followed by Raul Shaw. Deck McGuire has had a terrific start up until this point. As the first pitch is up and away for ball 1. There were at least some thought that Deck McGuire might go the entire way tonight, and he still may. He's only thrown 75 pitches through 6 innings of work. But the table's set a little bit differently now. The Blue Crabs have 2 hits in the night. They came in without one. 1-0 pitch. It's at the letters for a called strike, and the count 1-1. Massive hole between shortstop and third between Jack Reinheiser and Raider Alcanio. It's the same exact spot that Alex Crosby hit the ball. 1-1 pitch. Big wave and a miss. The count 1-2. From Zach Collier's perspective, I think the minimum you have to do is advance those runners from first and second to second and third and give Raul Shaw and Austin Ryan opportunity to knock in a couple of runs. Collier 0 for 2. Struck out and grounded out. There's the pitch. Swinging a line drive to second. They're going to get a double. No! Safe at first base. It looked like it was going to be a double play for sure, but instead, Raul Shaw dove back into first base. Or I beg your pardon, that was Alex Crosby who dove back in, and the first baseman, Luis Castro, is off the bag. And the call is safe back at first base. A great job by Alex Crosby to dive back into first base. It looked like it was going to be a surefire double play. But there are runners on first and second now with 1 out. But Zach Collier hits that ball pretty well and lines out to second. There are runners on first and second now with 1 out as Raul Shaw steps in. Now, I wouldn't expect a double play in this at-bat, but if Shaw is unable to advance the runners, I would not be surprised to see it in Austin Rye's at-bat. First pitch, that one misses a little inside, and Deck McGuire can't believe it. Deck McGuire thought that certainly was a strike. He doesn't get the call, and there's runners on first and second. The count 1-0 on the 8-hitter, or the 7-hitter, I should say, Raul Shaw. There's the pitch. It's away. The count 2 balls and no strikes. And Deck McGuire is visibly upset. McGuire, a 2-year MLB veteran. His ERA so far in the Atlantic League at 1.57. Is only bested by the Blue Crab starter tonight, Denson Hull, who has an ERA of 0.47. 2-0, that's inside, the count 3-0. And Deck McGuire, who has had no control issues up until this point, is at risk of walking Raul Shaw. Well, coming into this inning, Deck McGuire had retired 13 consecutive Blue Crabs. Well, the first 2 batters have reached the count 3-0. That one's right down Darrell Thompson drive, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike. He did induce a line out to Zach Collier with the count 3-1. For those of you unfamiliar, we were trying to find a new term for right down Broadway or right down Main Street, and we've decided on right down Darrell Thompson Drive, which is the name of the street the ballpark's now on. 3-1 pitch, swinging a slow ground ball towards second. An opportunity for a double play. They get one. They tag out Crosby and throw to first. And now a bit of an exchange between the players on both sides. And that will end the 7th inning. The Blue Crabs strand one as the Honey Hunters work a 4-3 double play. And that ends the 7th inning. It's still a 2-0 Honey Hunters. Top of the 8th inning, the Blue Crabs bring in the new pitcher. It's Nick Wells. And Wells had an outstanding start to the season. He faltered in his last appearance, though. It was against the Wild Genomes. First pitch is low for ball one. Count 1-0, 2-0 Honey Hunters. Those runs came way back in the 4th inning as that one is cut on and missed. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike on Joseph Rosa. 1-1. That's away. Count 2-1. Well, the Blue Crabs have had a couple hits now. They did not have a single hit in the first 6 innings in this ball game. And the 2-1 pitch, although the catcher Rye couldn't handle it, it's a called strike anyway, and the count 2-2. Rosas 1 for 3. He singled in the 4th inning, played a big role in advancing Jack Risen to third base. Beg your pardon, Jack Reinheimer to third base. 2-2, swinging a high pop-up in foul territory. Austin Rye is going to run out of room. And it's out of play. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Rosa. Back to that last point. Rosa had a base hit that advanced Reinheimer over to third, which put runners on the corners with nobody out. Reinheimer ended up coming around to score on the next batter on a fielder's choice. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes on Joseph Rosa. Here's the pitch, just a little up and away. And the count has run full on Rosa. Full count from Nick Wells. The pitch, swinging a foul. It's chopped behind home plate, and this will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat upcoming. Well, just to let you know the games that Nick Wells has pitched. We're going to get that as soon as we can here. And he's 2-1, a 3.38 ERA on the year. 3-2, swinging a hard ground ball, foul toward the Blue Crabs bullpen. And the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. So in his first 6 appearances of the year, Nick Wells was 2-1, or 2-0 I should say. He'd allowed only 2 hits, and he'd walked 2 batters. But in this most recent appearance against the Wild Health Genomes, he pitched the full inning, but he allowed 4 hits, 3 earned runs. He walked 1. 3-2, swing and a miss. Hard fought at bat for Nick Wells, but it ends in a strikeout, and there's 1 away. And Nick Wells has still had a very, very good year, having gone 8 innings of work. He's allowed 3 earned runs total. And here comes the cleanup hitter, Zach Jarrett. First pitch is away, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Beside that 1 appearance against the Wild Health Genomes, Nick Wells was terrific. The 1-0 pitch a little bit upstairs. Count 2-0. One out, top of the 8th, 2-0 Honey Hunters. Pitch, swing and a miss. Was down and low toward the shoe tops. But Zach Jarrett swings through it, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike with the base paths empty and 1 out. The top of the 8th inning. We're going to give you the answer to our trivia question in a moment. 2-0 pitch is cut on and topped foul, third base side toward the Blue Crabs dugout. The question was, when was the first album released from Billy Joel? And you're like, well, why are we asking a Billy Joel question? Well, today during batting practice, all the music was Billy Joel. So the players got to hear some Billy Joel. We might as well know when his first album was. 2-2 pitch, swinging a line drive to left field deep. Zach Collier back toward the wall, and he makes a terrific over-the-shoulder catch. What a play. Zach Collier down for a couple of moments. He's going to try to get up, and he does. There are 2 outs. A big catch by Zach Collier. It prevents extra bases from a Zach Jarrett. And after a very hard hit ball toward left and a diving catch from Zach Collier, there are now 2 away in the top of the 8th. Could that be a momentum swing? The Blue Crabs are in need of a couple runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Well, after a strikeout to Joseph Rosa and a very hard-hit ball from Zach Jarrett, there are 2 away. First pitch, a called strike on the 6-hitter, or the 5-hitter, I should say, Luis Castro. That one cut on and drilled down the third base line, foul. Very well hit by Luis Castro, who's 0 for 3 today. He was hit by a pitch back in the 6th inning. Here we are now in the top of the 8th. The Blue Crabs trail 2-0. Luis Castro calls time. Base paths empty, 2 outs. Nick Wells ahead in the count, 0-2, looking for his second strikeout of the inning. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. A pair of strikeouts for Nick Wells. along with a terrific catch from Zach Collier, retires them in an order 1, 2, 3. We're headed to the bottom of the 8th. The Blue Crabs need some runs. They trail 2-0 on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 8th inning, Blue Crabs will send 8, 9, and 1 to the plate. It's 2-0 Honey Hunters, and it has occurred to me that we have not yet revealed the answer to our trivia question. We're going to get there in 1 second. Believe me, just bear with me here. As the first pitch is a called strike from Deck McGuire, who is out to start the 8th inning. That was his 85th pitch of the day. Austin Rye steps back in. He is 0 for 3 on the day. The 0-1, a big cut and a miss, and the count 0-2. Well, the answer to our trivia question, which was, when was the first album released by Billy Joel? And all the batting practice music today was Billy Joel music, so that's why we're asking that question today. The answer was 1971. 0-2, that's away, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bottom of the 8th inning, Southern Maryland really needs some run support. 1-2 pitch from Deck McGuire's up and away. Count 2-2. For those wondering, there isn't any action right now in the Honey Hunters bullpen. They're rolling with Deck McGuire. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Whoa, came up and in and hit Austin Rye. And so there's a runner on first base with 1 out. Well, Deck McGuire was even in the count at 2-2 and threw that one and sort of lost control of it and ran up and in on a fastball and hits Austin Rye. And there's a runner on first base now and 1 out. Blue Crabs have not been shut out this year. They've been held to as little as 1 run as they scored only 1 in the 1-0 win over Staten Island. That Ferry Hawks team is 1-13 this year. First pitch, check swing. And the first base umpire in today's game, John Thomas, says he didn't go around. Count 1 ball and no strikes on the 9-hitter Michael Baca. It's 0 for 2. He flied to right and he flied to left. 1-0 is a called strike and the count 1-1. Well, Austin Rye He's on base for the second time today. He walked back in the second inning. He grounded to short in the fifth. 1-1. That one's right down Darrell Thompson drive. Count 1-2. For Michael Baca, it's just sort of been one of those streaks right now where he struggled during the month of May. He's had a couple of really strong games this year, but more recently has not been able to have quite as much success at the plate, but he's played very well in the field. The 1-2 is low and away. Nicely blocked by the catcher Stuart Levy, which holds Austin Rye at first base. Rye doesn't run particularly well. He's got enough speed to go to second on a pitch that might get a little bit away from the catcher. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rye has been doing exceptionally well recently at the plate. The 2-2. Swinging a ground ball over to second. It could be 2. Flip to second for 1. Back on to first. It is a double play. 4-6-3 double play, and they're 2 away in the 8th. The Blue Crabs are at risk of losing their first home game of the year. First pitch is away for ball 1. On the leadoff hitter, Jack Sundberg. Well, that's going to hurt the Blue Crabs after the 4-3 double play ball. And here is the pitch. It's a called strike at the knees, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Couple of big outs for Deck McGuire, who seemed to have run into a bit of an issue here in the 8th. As the 1-1 pitch, now it's away, and the count 2-1. McGuire working very quickly here in the 8th. Not taking a whole lot of time between pitches, and just as I say that, he takes a second to catch his breath. Here is the 2-1. Swinging a high pop-up, foul, third base side. This one's going to get into the seats about 7 rows deep. Maybe not even, just the second row behind the dugout, 4 rows deep overall. And a lucky fan got the ball. Senior Sluggers Day at the ballpark. There's Silver Sluggers today, where all the seniors can spend their time at the reg. Who doesn't love spending their Tuesday nights at the reg? Base path's empty with 2 outs. 2-2 pitch, swinging a high fly ball, center field. Shallow, and the center fielder, Davis, comes in about 10 steps and makes a one-handed catch hip high for the final out. Well, the Blue Crabs go down in order 1-2-3 unconventionally after a leadoff hit-by pitch from Austin Rye. It was a double play ball and a fly out to end the inning. We're done with 8 here at the Reg in Waldorf. It's still 2-0 Honey Hunters. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Top of the ninth inning, it's time for a new pitcher for the Blue Crabs. They bring in the righty Alex Marathu out of the bullpen. Well, Marathu so far this year is a 6.75 ERA. First pitch called strike on the inner half, and the count 0-1. Well, Marathu has gone a total of 5 1/3 innings this year. He has allowed 4 earned runs, 6 total runs. 0-1. Fastball inner half and the count 0-2. Base path's empty. And the pitch, the 0-2, swung on and missed. Race Hampton goes down swinging. There's one away in the top of the ninth. Well, Alex Marathu retires the first batter with a strikeout. Marathu has gone 3 2/3 innings. He's allowed 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned. Against the Wild Health Genomes, he pitched 2/3 of an inning, allowed 4 hits, 3 earned runs, including a home run. Then he went 1 inning of work last time out. Perfect 1-2-3 inning as the first pitch is a called strike on Raider Ascanio. Against Wild Health on Friday, Marathu went up the 1-2-3 inning. 0-1 pitch, cut on a miss, count 0-2. The last 3 appearances for Marathu were actually against the Genomes. The Blue Crabs played the Genomes at home for 3. And they then, after played at home for 3 games, they played Lancaster for 3 at home and then went on the road at Wild Health as the 0-2 pitch is fouled off. First base side out of play and the count 0-2. So the Blue Crabs played them in 6 out of 9 games between a series at home and a series on the road. Count 0-2 on the 7-hitter Ascanio. Here's the pitch. It's a little away, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Top of the ninth inning, 2-0 Honey Hunters. As the Honey Hunters are looking to move to 4-2. Marathu throwing in the low 90s. It's a 1-2 pitch. It's away, and the count 2-2. Marathu pitched last year and at least part of the season in the Frontier League, where he had a 12.39 ERA and a 2.36 whip. 0-2, swinging a foul tip. Got a piece of that one. As did the catcher's gear of Austin Rise, deflects over toward the first base dugout. Polanco also played time in, or I beg your pardon, Marathu also played time in the Pecos League. Well, I beg your pardon. I said that he had a 12.39 ERA last year. I had to make a correction on that. The 2-2 pitch, though, is swung on and grounded over to short. The toss to first is in time. 2 up and 2 down for Alex Marathu. So the correction is that Marathu did not play in the Frontier League. That was Dario Polanco with a 12.39 ERA and a 2.36 whip. Alex Marathu had an 8.31 ERA, had a 7.66 ERA and a 1.95 whip last year in the American Association. And this year his numbers are down. In a good way. His ERA down to 6 right now as he's retired 6 consecutive batters over the course of 3 games. First pitch is fouled back from Stuart Levy, the 8-hitter. And Marathu's got some real velocity there. He throws 92-93. He's a sinker ball pitcher. He's going to induce a lot of ground balls, and he's done that so far today. 0-1 pitch. Well, looked close. Didn't get the call from the home plate umpire, Mike Mackey. 2 outs, count 1-1 on the righty. Here's the pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, straightaway center field, sends Jack Sundberg back in front of the warning track where he makes the grab for the final out. A one-handed catch as he drifted back. That ball was hit probably 380 feet. Marathu with an outstanding 1-2-3 inning to retire the Honey Hunters. We go to the bottom of the ninth. The Blue Crabs need runs now. They need 2 to tie, 3 to win. Stick with us from the Reg in Waldorf. Bottom of the ninth inning from Regency Furniture Stadium. We're glad you've decided to join us on this Tuesday evening for baseball. Well, the weather has been perfect today. The Blue Crabs have a 2-0 deficit going into the ninth as they send 2, 3, and 4 to the plate. As the first pitch is ball from Ronald Pena. Pena has had 2 saves in the month of May, 4 saves on the year. He's 4 for 4. The pitch is swung on and grounded into center field for a base hit. Just past the outstretched reach of the shortstop, Jack Reinheimer. And there's a runner on first base with nobody out. And here comes Jared Walker. And Walker is the all-important runner. And as far as Braxton Lee is concerned, he is only important if he manages to come around and score before Jared Walker does. There's really no reason for him to steal. First pitch, cut on and missed in the count 0-1. The last thing you want to do is run yourself into an out on the base paths when you don't have to. You've gotten yourself on base. Now all you had to do is try to come around and score. Well, the Blue Crabs need to get another guy on base first. A big swing from Jared Walker. The 0-1, that's cut on and missed. The count 0-2 from Ronald Pena. Pena comes into this game with a 2.57 ERA. He allowed a run in his first appearance against Lancaster and a run against Staten Island in his fourth appearance. He's not allowed a run since April 29th. There's a pitch. Runs low and in, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ronald Pena set. Runner on first base and nobody out. Here's the pitch. It's away, and the count 2-2 on Walker. Jared Walker on the season has a .370 on-base percentage in the last series on the road. He was 2 for 11, had an RBI, and 3 runs scored. 2-2, swinging a hard line drive down the first base line, foul. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. There is action in the Blue Crabs bullpen, should it be necessary. Nothing more than a soft toss for now, as the Blue Crabs are hitting in the bottom of the 9th for the first time this season. 2-2, runs inside and hits Jared Walker. Runners on first and second now with nobody out. And the Blue Crabs are threatening. Oh, I beg your pardon. I believe it did not, in fact, hit Walker. It must have merely gotten away from the catcher, Stuart Levy. It did allow Braxton Lee to advance to second base. So I beg your pardon. I thought that Jared Walker was hit by a pitch from my vantage point up top. Well, the count's 3-2. Here's the pitch. That's a called strike 3. Jared Walker goes down looking. And there is one away now in the bottom of the 9th inning. So it looked like things were very promising for the Blue Crabs. Instead, there's merely a runner on second with 1 out. It's a bad break. It's a big strikeout for Ronald Pena. And again, the runner, I should say, and Braxton Lee is not important unless they can get that second run around. So it doesn't really help him to score quickly. All they need to have to do is to score if another run is to be able to come around and score himself. So the last thing you want to do is run Braxton Lee into an out. The count 1 ball and no strikes on David Harris as the first pitch misses away. 1-0, that's away as well, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Ronald Pena not having control problems per se. He worked a deep count with Jared Walker and managed to strike him out, but he is behind in the count 2-0 here. It's a hitter's count. Would not be surprised to see him throw one right down the middle. Have David Harris swing. Well, it's right down the middle, but Harris takes, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Runner on second base, 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. 2-0 Honey Hunters. They scored those runs back in the top of the 4th inning. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss and a big fastball up and out of the zone. Harris has a hit today. It was an infield single on a ground ball to third base. Took an awkward hop on Raider Alcaño. Well, the story today is Deck McGuire, who went 8 innings, allowed just 2 hits and no runs. There's the pitch, swung on and missed. Or is it a foul tip? No, it's a swing and a miss. So David Harris goes down swinging. There are 2 outs. The catcher, Stuart Levy, couldn't find it. You have to wonder if there might have been a close play at first base. Should he have run that ball out? Either way, there's a runner on second now and 2 outs. Blue Crabs need Alex Crosby to come through. Ronald Pena. First pitch, runs inside in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Two outs, bottom of the 9th inning. 2-0 Gastonia leads over Southern Maryland. There's the pitch. That's inside in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Runner on second base. 2 outs. Count 2 balls and no strikes on Alex Crosby. Pitch, swinging a ground ball. It's knocked down by the pitcher. The throw to first is in time. Well, what a terrific job by Ronald Pena to knock that ball down and have the presence of mind to go up and get the ball and then figure out that he was going to have a play at first base, and he tossed over there and beat Alex Crosby. Terrific job fielding his position, and Ronald Pena records the final out in this ball game. It's the first time this year Southern Maryland has lost a game at home. They were 6-0 coming into this game at home. The bats never came alive. The Blue Crabs did not have a hit through the first 6 innings. They had 3 hits in the 7th, 8th, and 9th combined, including 1 in the 9th, the leadoff single from Braxton Lee, but the Blue Crabs couldn't find a way to get a run across home plate tonight. They're shut out by the Honey Hunters, 2-0. And Gastonia is going to be tough. There's no question about it. Gastonia is 13-2 this year. It's the same record as the Blue Crabs coming in, so Gastonia moves to 14-2. The Blue Crabs fall to 13-3. It's their first home loss of the season. Well, let's talk about a couple of notables before we sign off here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. For Southern Maryland, we mentioned just 3 hits. Braxton Lee had 1 hit. It was a line drive single to center. David Harris had an infield single on a ground ball toward third base. Alex Crosby singled to the left side. Was 1 for 4 on the day. The Blue Crabs fall to 13-3 today. On the mound, the Blue Crabs found success from Denson Hull, who went 6 innings. He allowed just 2 runs, 1 earned run, 4 hits. He struck out 5 batters, his ERA at 0.47. Nick Wells went an inning of work, struck out 2 batters, and Alex Merrithew pitched a clean 1-2-3 9th inning as well. The Gastonia Honey Hunters found success on the mound. Deck McGuire went 8 innings, allowed 2 hits. He walked 1. He struck out 5. He was sensational, to say the least, through 99 pitches, 63 of them for strikes. Never had control issues throughout the outing for the Blue Crabs. They also had terrific pitching from Denson Hull. And Hull faced a total of 23 batters as the Blue Crabs end up falling in this one 2-0. Had terrific pitching down the stretch in the bullpen. Terrific pitching on the start from Denson Hull, but not enough to take home the win over the Gastonia Honey Hunters. They win at 2-0. We're back here for Game 2 tomorrow night at 6:35. Same time, same place at Regency Furniture Stadium for Game 2 as the Blue Crabs look to get back into the win column. Well, have a nice night, everybody, and stay tuned tomorrow on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network for Game 2 of the series.